To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. Jay here, positivesarcasm.com, recorded here from Spare Parts Underground Studio, T-minus 2 weeks, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. Still got the doubts in my brain, but you can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me the Parler thing keeps getting weirder and weirder because of the fact that they just fired the CEO, and I be completely honest with you. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with that situation. I mean, look, if you want to find me, you can. Honestly, if you do want to find me, you do want to contact me, if you do have questions, concerns, comments, you can find me directly through my website, positivesarcasm.com. That thing works perfectly. Nobody's kicking me off of anything on there. That's my friggin' website. You can find me there. You can email me directly through the website. You can contact me there. None of your information is used for data purchases or data whatever. I don't do anything with it. Okay, it's just my information. Hell, I don't even have a cloud server. Everything gets stored locally with my clients. I don't trust the internet enough to. I would only trust the internet enough to damage myself and put myself out there, but not my clients' data. That's just not. That's not worth it to me, and I don't want to lose that stuff. And I know technology-wise, if I can afford to store it myself, I might as well do so. It's an easy upgrade. It's a cheap upgrade. But here we go. Wanted to get right to it this week. The last week, I kind of was expecting to only do like maybe 15, 20 minutes on that, but the tiny little segment turned into a giant 1 hour tangent. And you know what? Sometimes that's a good thing. But like I said, every time I do that, I lose track of the Q&A for that week. So it's like, you know what? I think Sunday Leftovers would be a perfectly good time to catch up on the dig.com Q&As to see what's going on with other people's first world problems and see if we can make their lives better. Or with my advice, probably worse. So you could, but in the meantime, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Positive Sarcasm and Positive Sarcasm Podcast. And of course, email me positivesarcasm@outlook.com. Supporting the podcast, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Also, my affiliate links for the Cash App and for the Webull app, Webull. Definitely check that one out. Get yourself started, because there are no guarantees in life except for the shares you own, unless they get bought back by the company. But that's another story. Hit me up for that. I'm not a legal advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. I just know a couple things here and there. You keep laying bricks, eventually have a foundation. So let's go ahead and make this a nice, quick, and efficient Sunday Leftovers. No coffee today, only tea. Am I a jerk for gambling with $30,000 from my kid's college fund? Well, it depends on how much you lost. About a week ago, a group of friends and I took a trip to Vegas. And for the record, we all got COVID. I don't care about that. I'm looking for judgment on... Okay. Wow, this guy's... Okay, all right. No, I don't care about the COVID stuff. You want a vacation? Good. Let's talk about the cash. Let's get to the cash. The casinos have just opened up recently, so my friends and I have enjoyed a little bit of gambling. Okay, so we decided to check one out. I usually have a specific fund dedicated to gambling, so I don't use up any of our savings. But most of that fund ended up being put towards rent during quarantine, since my girlfriend got laid off of work. Now, here's why I think I might be the asshole. Well, okay, well, at least you admitted it, possibly. It might have been over a year since I gambled last, and I really wanted to gamble. I really wanted to gamble. I didn't want to take away from the house fund or from our grocery fund, so I decided that taking money from our kids' college funds would be the best option. Okay, one of them is 14, the other is 11. So there's still plenty of time for me to get the money back before they actually go off to college. And I actually ended up winning. I kept all the money that I gambled, and I ended up making a profit of about a quarter of the fund. So, okay, that's a decent chunk of change. I called my girlfriend and excitedly told her the news, but she asked where I gotten the original money from. I told her, and she freaked out, screamed at me, told me that I was going to tell the kids how immature I was, and hung up on me. I know that I was a little bit irresponsible, but I don't really see the issue. If I had lost the money, it might have been a different story, but I won, so I don't get where there's a problem. Now, my kids have even more money to put into their college fund, and I've got to gamble like I wanted to. So am I the asshole? I gambled about $30K, and now me and my family are all better off because of it. Well, okay. You only want to gamble, or you only want to trade with what you're willing to lose. So if you're willing to gamble with $30K, you are prepared to lose $30K. So obviously, let me put it to you this way. Let's break it down into two things, though. I don't want to So, okay. When you gamble or when you invest, well, investing and trading on the stock market is different. Like, basically, if you're just doing swing trading or day trading or futures trading, you're basically gambling. You're speculating. That's no different. So if you say you trade on the stock market, you say you do swing trading or stuff like that, or short-term investing or options trading, you're gambling. You're speculating. So that makes you no different than this person right here. If you're playing, whether you're playing blackjack or you're betting on Tesla, doesn't matter. You gambled with about $30K. Now, was it irresponsible of you? Up to a degree. And I think right now everybody's money is so tight with everything going on. She lost her job. She's super protective. I could see where she'd be upset with you. So I guess let's break it down even more. You gambled about $30K. You ended up winning. Great. What do you do with that money? Well, it better be a big fat fucking diamond ring for your girlfriend. That's for sure. That will pretty much take care of all the problems right there. Let's continue on even further, though. It's for college. Well, it depends on what college you're going to. Are they going to like a prestigious institute? If that case, who cares what happens to the money? But if they end up going to like an actual technical school or something like a community type of thing where the money isn't, it's not that expensive, and they actually could get an education or a certification that they could actually use to make real money. Even though nowadays you're basically considered an essential worker if you bag groceries at your fucking local store. I mean, in that case, whatever. In this case, yeah, it was definitely irresponsible. The question is now, well, you wanted to gamble. That was your fix. If it doesn't if the money doesn't matter to you, then you should definitely consider putting it towards the kid's college fund or using it for your girlfriend. And yeah, buy her off, basically. You didn't use... Okay, so apparently you have everything all quartered off here. So you have your kid's college fund would be the best option. So you have a college fund, you have $30K in there? Okay, that's a lot of cash. It's also your girlfriend. You have $30K and she's still your girlfriend. So you have $30K, but she's not your wife. I wonder what that's all about. You said that there's housing fund. You have a specific fund dedicated to gambling. Okay, but most of that fund ended up not being put towards rent during quarantine since my girlfriend got laid off from work. So you use that to take care of your girlfriend. Okay, well, good on you for that. You definitely took a risk. I don't think this is life-altering. I think you need to own this because this is something where a sociopathy definitely plays a part. If you think you have a gambling addiction, though, you may want to, any type of addiction, you may want to just at least explore that possibility. Like this could be a ha-ha moment, no big deal, and eventually she'll get over it, and you'll use that extra, $7 to $10 to buy her a nice diamond ring or something like that, and be like, look, I made it up to you, and I want to use that money. I put all the money back in there, and I used the rest on this. And I think that should probably take care of the problem. And there's just being that one thing that you just look back on and be like, that was a weird moment. But this could possibly spiral out of control, and don't blame anything on her. And it's your gambling. Your thing is your thing, and it's your job to, even though you paid for your part of the girlfriend's rent, that's not her. She got laid off. That's not her fault. It's your addiction. And if it truly is an addiction, you need to seek treatment for it. But you could, if this is something where you can kind of turn the tides on it, well, then you could just use the money to your advantage. You gambled. Great. Why are you gambling on the friggin'... Why are you gambling? Why don't you just... Well, it's up to you. I don't really know you that well. But use some of that to turn your girlfriend into your fiancé. That would probably be a good idea. I mean, as long as she says yes. Because I had a bad day. How can my husband and... Ugh. How can my husband and I keep our sanity around the granddaughter we despise? My husband and I cannot stand our grandchild. The child is loud, intrusive, screams, runs, climbs on the furniture, demands attention, interrupts, cannot sit still, and she's a girl. Usually this behavior is associated with ADHD boys. Whoa, what's with the ADHD? Boys. Just say boys. I'll take that trophy all day long. The ADHD, it's not real. We find even 20-minute video chats exhausting. All we want are 2-minute videos and still photos to send them checks for birthdays and Christmas. And these are some real grandparents. Here's money. Leave us alone. The other grandparents seem to be just fine with and perhaps even adore and encourage the child's behavior, so we're glad to defer all the holidays to them. Can you suggest a tactful way for us to keep our sanity? It's possible she'll improve with time or medication, so we don't want to shut the door completely. Whoa. As far as the medicate, don't go that route. You don't want to suggest medicating somebody's kid. Yours, theirs, anybody's. We don't want to go that route. As far as, is the mother and father of the girl, are they properly disciplining or things like that? And plus, how old is the kid? If it's like 2 or 3, that's one thing where the kid is obviously learning, hey, I can run. Hey, I can, do this and that and the other thing. But once she starts to turn that corner where she's going to be going to school, she needs to have some type of behavior pattern where she listens to authority in general. And if not, if she just runs amok and does whatever she wants, then that has to be addressed. The other thing is, what kind of grandparents are you, per se? Are you tolerable grandparents? Are you the grandparents who just want to be left alone? That's another thing to consider. Why am I finding so many factors in all these goddamn Q&As? Why can't anything just be black and white anymore? What'd you say? But as far as the grandchild goes, loud, intrusive, screams, runs, and climbs on the furniture. Yeah, well, I think that is a parenting issue. I think that's a parenting issue, but I would never recommend medication. I would never do that. We already have such a problem right now in the world with freaking medication and all that other bullshit. Why would we go that route? That's absolutely insane. Please don't do that. It's possible she'll improve with time, but we don't want to shut the door completely. Well, then you need to have a talk with the parents or the mom or the dad. You have to have that talk. Look, just be open about it and go from there. You'll get some resistance right off the bat, but as long as you go that route, you can at least say you did. What you do then is up to you. And look, if you don't want to join everybody during the holidays, that's your call. That's your life. You can totally lead that. It's up to you. You can just be like, we're moving to Florida, and we don't want to be bothered. We'll send you cards, and we'll send you checks, and you'll be those grandparents. And you know what? To be perfectly honest, people love those grandparents. So those are your options to work, but you need to address it with the family first, and depending upon the child's age as well. But don't medicate the kid, for the love of Christ. Is it wrong for my boss and I to have a close friendship and exclude my coworker from our lunches? The company I work for is about 400 employees. 400 employees. And the department I work for is a total of 3. Me, my boss, and my coworker. My boss and I are really good friends. We hang out after work and on the weekends. We even go to lunch on occasion during the workday. My coworker is upset because I am so close with the boss. This is not the first time she has become upset about this, and our boss has talked to her about this before. Isn't our lunchtime our personal time? And if we don't want to invite people, we shouldn't have to feel guilty about it. What is your opinion? We do offer to bring her back something. Okay. Well, it's not necessarily on you, and I keep saying this time and time again. It's like, you're making friends with your fucking coworkers or your managers and stuff like that. I can't. I think once, like, for example, if you have a friend who becomes a manager or a supervisor, I think at that point you kind of have to cut the axe or move to a different department, because you can't have that. I don't know if you can have that relationship with somebody who happens to be a supervisor or a manager in your department. I don't think it works. I think it just creates more tension and causes more issues, and it's not something you want to be a part of. And if they're planning on doing so or becoming a supervisor, they need to let you know, if they are truly your friend, this is what I'm planning to do. I may be overseeing some of your work. what do you think about that? And let me know. So if you want to move to a different department or whatever, that is a route you should take. But you become close with your boss, and now you're going to lunch together, and you're pissing other people off. I can understand the dynamic. If the other person, the coworker, is so upset, then I can understand why you don't want to hang out with them to begin with. And, well, I don't know. I can't say whether or not I don't know if it's a good idea if your manager, maybe your manager is really, really good and keeps a small department and runs things high and tight and doesn't create waves to other departments where it compromises your job. That's a whole different aspect. That's another thing to look at. It's be like, listen, we'll bring you back something from lunch. We keep a small department. You get paid really well. Shut up. But in this situation, it's like, I get professionalism. I get all that stuff. But what are we talking about here? We're talking about a 3-man group, and she's upset about it. So is she justified to be upset? Possibly. Is your manager a good manager? Possibly. Is it a bad manager? Also possible. Is this the way to run a department? I can't say for sure, and I'm not sure I would put myself in that position. I wouldn't want to, that's for sure. And if I have, I would definitely not repeat the mistakes of the past. So this is not a position you as an employee want to be a part of. You should definitely figure something out and exclude yourself from the situation or cut it off and not do that. Now, if it's after work, okay, here's a compromise. Because obviously, we're all about compromise in America. No more lunches together. Because technically, you are, in some sense, on company time. Hell, there are some companies that don't even allow you to hang out with other employees. I could totally get why, though. So I think no more lunches together. While you're on the clock, no more of that. If you're going to you said you go to lunch and you hang out during the workday. So we hang out after work and on the weekends. There's your time. Don't do the workday thing anymore, though. You got to cut that out because that is compromising the integrity of the workplace. And then the manager needs to address that with the other employee and be like, listen, that probably not the best approach. I mean, yes, we are friends, but as far as the workday goes, the lunches, we're not going to do that anymore. But that's it. I think it's as far as you should go. So, and yeah, managers are people too, and they can make poor decisions. So extend that a little bit. Extend that rope a little bit. All right, we got 17 minutes. We'll just keep going. Is my daughter wrong to exclude her future stepchildren's grandmother from her wedding? Oh, this wedding stuff. I think I already have a pocket answer for this, but let's keep going. My daughter is marrying a widower, Hank, with 3 children. The problem is with Gail, the mother of his late wife. My daughter includes Gail in the daily household activities, including holidays and birthdays. The children have pictures of their mom, Hank's late wife, hung up in their home and speak about her often. Gail is not very nice to my daughter. She purposely calls her the wrong name. She says she does this because my daughter's name reminds her of her daughter. Okay. Understandable. Gail has done other things, such as pull the children out of school after being told not to. She has taken them to... That's easily remediable. That you can easily remedy that. You can just take her off the list. You have to be a certain person, and you have to have a signature on file in order to take a child out of school. Otherwise, you can't do that. She has taken them to doctors and dentists for appointments without talking to my daughter or her father. She has been asked to back off some. Okay, good. My daughter understands that Gail jumped in and helped out for a year, and it might be difficult for her to turn over these responsibilities. Also completely understand, and yes, that does happen in positions of authority. But they have been together for 18 months now and live together as a family. The issue is that my daughter decided not to invite Gail to the wedding. This is intended to be a special day about the bride and groom. My daughter was concerned that Gail might speak ill of her to other guests, as has happened on the other occasions. The invitations were set out, and Gail immediately wanted to know where hers was. My daughter explained as nicely as possible that she was not invited. My daughter was immediately met with mean, hateful comments. Gail then called the grandkids' paternal grandmother, Hank's mom, and complained to her for 40 minutes. The wedding had to be rescheduled due to COVID, okay, and the delay has put the issue back to square one. Gail has started all over, assuming she will get an invitation. Is my daughter wrong to exclude her? God damn it. Let's see. Look, I can understand she is an integral part of the kids, and that is somebody's mother, so that makes sense that you would invite to the wedding. However, this guy's a widow. He lost his wife. And I have this rule about who you invite and who you don't invite to weddings based on the simple fact that it's your wedding. This is a tough call, but it is your wedding. So every guest has to essentially play by your rules. There are variables where everybody's supposed to have a good time, and that things of that nature. You bring a guest if that's allowed on the thing. Generally is. There are weddings where no kid. It's strictly adults only, and I've heard people complain about that. But you know what? Those are the terms of the wedding. Those are the terms of the wedding. And when it comes to a wedding, it's between a man and a woman, or, well, it's between two people. Put it that way. And those are the focal points. So nobody should be talking shit or causing drama and getting drunk and knocking shit over. That's the thing about weddings is everybody needs to remember why they are there, and it is because of those two people. A man lost his wife, and he is trying to put the pieces back together in his life, and he has managed to meet somebody. So ultimately, should Gail be invited to the wedding? Yes, but Gail has to abide by these sets of rules where, look, it's about us, and if you can't say anything nice, keep your mouth shut, or you're not invited and I'll ask you to leave. So that's kind of the thing there. I'm assuming Gail has definitely got her own type of personality and wears her heart on her sleeve, but that she has to be accepted for who she is and what she's tried to do. But she can't be a dull rock at this wedding. She can't do that. Otherwise, what's the point of having a wonderful moment that you guys have put so much time and effort into? That can't happen. So, yes, you should reconsider inviting her to the wedding, but based on some major stipulations. And at least now you have time to think about it. And we'll see how she moves. Because right now this year kind of sent people in very harsh directions. So I don't know where her mindset is, but she needs to step up to the plate if she's going to get an invitation back. And thankfully, it's only one seat we're talking about here. It's one seat. That's all. Is it reasonable to feel cheated on because my husband Googled 2 female celebrities? My husband of 50... This one should be quick. But then again, I always say that. My husband of 55 years Googled 2 female television personalities. He said he was curious about their age. Pressing him further, he admitted that he did so because they were pretty. I felt hurt, ugly, which I am not, okay, and most of all cheated on. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. Can you understand how I feel, or am I totally overreacting? Yeah, you're totally overreacting. Totally. Like, this is like a non-starter. This is totally a non-starter, regardless of how he feels or whatever he does. It's not like he's going out there like, he's curious. Most guys are curious. Most, okay? The other ones are, I don't know, not or dead. They're dead. Or they're just completely not excluded from the world. I don't need to make this any more gray. This is a black and white situation. He's 55 years old. He Googled a couple Jennifer Anistons, and he looked at them and went, ooh, they're hot. Okay. Now what? Are you going to dismantle a man of 55 years simply because he looked up, Courtney Cox's age? Oh, please. You got to check it and just get over this. I don't know why all of a sudden this is now a factor. All because Google showed up. You need to reshift your thinking and just leave it alone. That's all I want to say about that one. All right, let's continue on. This is the last one, and then we're going to get out of here for the day. How should I respond to my neighbor's friendly way? Because I've been doing really long Sunday leftovers recently. Like, these are supposed to be like 25, 30 minutes. I've been going like 45 minutes, almost an hour sometimes. And, I mean, that's fine, but sometimes I got to pull back, I almost lost my voice on one podcast. Actually, I did. I lost my voice before one of them. How should I respond to my neighbor's friendly waves from her expensive car? My neighbor bought a brand new Range Rover that costs over $150,000. Well, it'll cost $200,000 from all the repairs going forward. She used to drive a Chevy Suburban and rarely waved when she passed. But now that she's got new wheels and she goes out of her way to let you know she's there, waving and eye contact, I find her self-boosting unfortunate and annoying when so many people are unemployed and struggling. What would you do? You know what? What if she got a new pair of tits? And before she wasn't waving at you at all, and now she's waving at you. Do you think about that? But instead of, going and getting a boob job or a lip job or a lift, she went and got a Range Rover. And now she feels like she's valued somewhat. First of all, Chevy Suburbans, the older ones, are pretty damn ugly. Range Rover is an expensive commitment. That's not a purchase. That's a commitment. That's not even an investment. That's like a commit. I'm going to commit to this lifestyle. And usually when somebody drives a Range Rover, they don't wave. They're kind of just in their own little world, and it's a different personality. And it's not the one of a soccer mom waving out the window. As far as people's struggles, don't go, you don't have to go to the party alone because everybody else showed up all, disheveled. She wants to roll in a Range Rover. That's her prerogative. Good on her. To roll in a Range? If she bought something she thinks is really cool and it's helped her personality or something like that, I mean, what's it to you? You should be happy for them. I don't know what else to tell you as far as what would I do? I'd be like, that's a sick Rover. Like my buddy Johnny Monotone, I didn't get a chance to look at his hybrid car, and I finally got a chance to look inside the interior, and it's really, really nice. So I asked questions about it. I look around it, and I'm curious about it, and he told me all about it, showed me the buttons. I'm like, that's cool. This person buys, basically a mobile home for a car. You should be freaking happy for them. And if they're waving at you, go look. It's always great to congratulate people on their accomplishments. There's nothing wrong with that. Why should you be such a fucking hater? Get over yourself. It's really no big deal. But yeah, she buys a Range Rover, good on her. She used to drive and rarely waved. Life changes. People change. So you have to understand that. So that's today's Q&A. I have I was doing a lot of research research earlier on space debris and stuff, but we can get to that another time. I've also kind of covered that. Maybe we'll go over that in future podcasts, hopefully. But I have a lot of that really cool. It's something that I really couldn't show to you in the original Spare Parts Studio because I didn't have the setup where the video I could show you some of the things I was looking at. And now that I do, instead of describing it for the video viewers, I can actually show it to you. Just because I made it a simple setup change, and I plan to keep that change going for new podcasts. But I'll have to remember that I also have audio listeners as well, and I want to make sure that I don't kind of, exclude them per se. So, but I do want to show off the new video format, and also check out my podcast on YouTube, Positive Sarcasm Podcast. Welcome all new subscribers and those who have signed up for Webull and all the donations and new subscribers and all the all that stuff. It's really super awesome. I'm really appreciate it. I didn't know that I was worth listening to, if even only for a couple minutes, but you guys have proved me wrong, at least to some capacity. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay to be wrong. I've been doing this for what? My first podcast was in March of 2014. I would love to revisit that podcast sometime, but I guess we'll see. Like all my moods and my swings and my energy and the goods and the bads and all going back and forth through the years and through each week now, like where am I, how I was from podcast to podcast to podcast, depending upon what time of day it was, what my energy levels were. It's crazy that how many Q&As I've done, how many articles I've looked up, how many subjects I've tackled, and if I've made any predictions or if any of that advice or if any of that knowledge was found useful by somebody so that they could go ahead and pursue something by simply doing it themselves, whether it was building their own computer or brewing their own coffees or exploring coffees, just all this stuff. Or maybe if the Q&As helped them in some way, shape, or form, or helped enforce a viewpoint, whatever it is. I hope it's helpful. But in the meantime, you can find me on social medias. You can hit me up directly through my website, positivesarcasm.com. Just all you got to do is go to the contact section. There's a contact page there. You can just fill out a couple things, send it right to me, and we'll privately discuss back and forth what you're looking for. You can also, You can also hit me up through my social medias, but I feel it's in the best interest security-wise. You just email me directly through my website or email me directly, positivesarcasm@outlook.com, okay? And just put subject podcast or whatever as long as you put a subject, please. But in the meantime, thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing, and I will hopefully talk to you all on Wednesday. Let's see. What's today? What's today's date? You guys know what today's date is? Get out of here. It is 14th. Clock's ticking. But in the meantime, I'll talk to you all on Wednesday. Thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. You can find me anywhere where podcasts are available. Recorded here from the Spare Parts Underground studio. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation.